Welcome to another Foodie Friday. It is time to make some broccoli mushroom stir fry. I am so excited to share this recipe with you. Takes a little bit of time for prep, but it is delicious and it is going to be so much fun to make today. In case you don't know, I'm Mary Fran and this is the channel of No Excuses. This is the place to get healthy and get your life on track and be the best version of you. Today, as I said, we are going to be making broccoli mushroom stir fry. So today you're going to need mushrooms, and you're going to need ginger and sesame seeds. You're going to need soy sauce and rice vinegar. You will need some sort of broth. You can use vegetable broth, you could use chicken broth or beef broth. I just happen to have some beef broth left here. You're going to need garlic, cashews, mushrooms, and of course, the broccoli. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to slice up the mushrooms. Jason loves mushrooms and he's always telling me that I need to leave the mushrooms bigger. So let's see how I do today. Now the trick of it is I really don't like mushrooms. So I like my mushrooms small. So it really is a battle of getting the right size mushrooms. Now I will tell you that I actually do really like this recipe. This recipe was delicious. Let me clear some room for my work here. So as I was saying, I don't really like mushrooms, and with trying to eat more meatless, but with that, I'm trying to eat more mushrooms myself because they have such great properties. For me, it's more along the lines of the texture, and that's why I prefer to chop them up as small as possible. Jason just loves mushrooms, and he likes to have them big. Next up is the broccoli, and I have actually already washed the broccoli. And we are going to simply cut the ends off and get the heads of the broccoli. We can definitely put that in its own bowl also. This is one of those meals that I need so much stuff that I like to get everything prepared and everything cut apart and even measured out, and then at the last minute when I stir it, when I fry it, I just throw it all together and it's all lined up. It's very easy to do at one time. Next up is something that I actually totally forgot because it was hiding, and that is carrots. We do need a couple carrots. It does say shred them, but you know, I just have baby carrots, so I'm not going to shred them. I'm just going to chop them very small. Just want to give it that little bit of crunch. I will include the recipe in the link below so that you can have the exact measurements of some of what they're asking for carrots and broccoli. I personally just don't go by that just because vegetables are so subjective. I could buy a head of broccoli and it might make 3 cups, and I might buy a head of broccoli the next week and I might get 4 cups out of it. So this one just might be a little bit heavier or lighter on the broccoli. And the same with the carrots. It's kind of what makes it a little bit fun and unique. Next, we're going to start measuring out the spices that are going to go into the pan with the broccoli and the mushrooms. First thing we are going to add is something else I forgot to put in, which is crushed red pepper. I need a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. So in the same time frame, we're going to be adding my ginger. And for ginger, I need 2 teaspoons. Now you could use real fresh ginger. I am just going to use ground ginger because that's what I have. And then the other thing we are going to be putting into that mix is garlic. We need 3 cloves, so I'm going to say 3 heaping teaspoons. And then we're going to take our broth, and like I said, you could use beef broth, you could use any kind of broth you have. I just happen to have beef broth open, and you only need about 1/4 cup. So at this point I have everything ready. I have my broccoli, my mushrooms, my spices, and my garlic, and my beef broth. That is all going to go into the pan at the same time together, and we're going to let that cook for a while. We're going to do that until all of my vegetables are nice and soft. So after that is being cooked, I can actually work on the next level. The first thing I'm going to work on is the carrots, and I'm going to need 1/4 cup of cashews. I'm going to need some rice vinegar, and I'm going to need 2 tablespoons of that. So let's put that in here. So tablespoon 1, tablespoon 2. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. So we'll add that in, and we'll let that all simmer for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then it's ready to serve. And you can just put some white sesame seeds on top of it just for garnish and for a little bit of extra flavor. And we will get back with this when it is time to cook up this stir fry. So when it's time to cook it, you want to heat up your pan and put in your broth. And then you're going to add your garlic, and your spices, your broccoli, and your mushrooms. And you want to give that a good stir. And if you think it needs a little bit more liquid, you can add some more broth. You want to make sure there's enough broth so that it does not stick to the pan. And then you're just going to let that cook. And once it has been cooked, you can see that it has reduced, and the vegetables have actually reduced in size. You want to add your carrots. You want to add your soy sauce and rice wine vinegar. And you want to add in your cashews. And you're basically going to let that cook down for about a minute or 2, just to get all those flavors all together in wonderful deliciousness. And at this stage, I like to keep stirring it just because there's not as much liquid, it is more dry. And then you can just add in some sesame seeds. And voila, we are done. Now I did cook up a wild rice to serve with it, and it was the most delicious meal. There are no excuses. Enjoy life, try new recipes, and enjoy what you're eating.